George Pickens needs to accept the reality that the Pittsburgh Steelers just don't give out the number one jersey anymore. Doesn't happen. Now, we thought it might have happened with Justin Fields. He went and got number 2. Russell Wilson got 3. But we saw George Pickens go to Instagram right here. If you guys haven't seen this story yet, it's Steelers. He says, hashtag Steelers. Come on, man. Number 1. He uploads his picture, George Pickens with the number 1, image there. And that's his Instagram called One Issue. And yes, it's about time that I'm getting to the point of like, focus on football. I understand you've got social media, but when is like enough? I think when he came out in his rookie year, he was trying to get number 1. The Steelers pushed it back. And there's always that connection, I think, to Gary Anderson, who leads the Steelers with the most points, being the kicker. And yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers are stuck in their traditional ways. Let me know, guys, in the comments below what you think like right now. Because it's not a huge story or a massive story, but something to talk about, something to have a bit of focal point on. And I do want to get into 2 other topics at the end of this video too. But the main story I want to talk about was George Pickens. Is it a big issue? Come on, man, give me that number 1 receiver jersey. I see this kind of I'm going to sit on the fence. I kind of see it both sides. You could keep George Pickens happy, given that number 1 receiver. I think he had it in college. He's number 1 issue. He's good to go. George Pickens number 1. However, at the same time, it would inflate his ego even more. And could it become a problem that George Pickens, becomes a diva? Like, I'm not saying that he will be going down that road, but we don't want to see it with AB. We've had enough Juju. We've had enough. Well, I certainly did with the TikTok stuff. Had enough Claypool. Had enough Deontay Johnson, right? But it seems like these receivers in this sport, if you've been following long enough for the Pittsburgh Steelers or you've been watching NFL, it's like the receiver position is always that diva mentality. Like, give me the ball. I want it now. And if I don't get it, I start crying like Stephon Diggs in that scenario with the Bills, and he was fighting with, Josh Allen and those kind of things. But so I understand to a certain point that George Pickens wants the ball, wants to be the number 1 guy on the team. And yes, he is the number 1 guy on the team. He's a fantastic receiver. He's going to play hopefully lights out next year and have a massive year into his 3rd year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? I can't believe that's even happening now. He's into his 3rd year. So I want to see massive things, great catches, improving on his route running. He's catching is freaking awesome. I'm not trying to put down George Pickens. I'm not hating on the guy. I just find it interesting that he's going to Instagram and saying, give me that number 1, Steelers. Talk to your boss. Talk to your people. Go and talk to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't make this something out of the media. They can grab this and turn it around, or, the sites like All Steelers Talk or, Steelers Chat will go and feed this and say George Pickens is crying and whinging and blah, 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 blah. Like, don't make this a storyline that you don't have to do this with this, number 1 conversation around the number, because if you work for the team, this. The Pittsburgh Steelers just don't give out number 1. Hasn't happened, I believe, since 1999, and it hasn't been issued. The reason why they don't issue it is because Gary Anderson. So my thing is, why make it an issue? You're called number 1 issue. Do not make this a Pittsburgh Steelers issue where the media can grab this and turn it upside down and make you the public enemy number 1 when you don't get your way. On the flip side, though, I do see what he's saying is, give me the number 1. I'll go and excel, and I'll be the best Pittsburgh Steeler that I can be. But then I go to the fan side too. I saw a lot of comments in the fans, and I was like saying, well, yeah, don't be a diva. Don't, boost his ego. But what about the fans who have already bought George Pickens 14? Have already spent $100, $140 USD, which is like my $200 plus shipping is like $250 for a jersey saying Pickens on the back, and it has 14 already. Do you expect them to go out and buy another jersey with a number 1 on it? This, to me, the issue should have been set in stone 2 years ago in his rookie year. I also saw a commenter on this platform. Sorry, I forget your name, but they did mention the reason why it might be is that they do not give out number 1 because they use that jersey for the overall first draft pick. They do take the pictures. That kind of thing makes sense too. But they haven't given out number ones for a very long time. But we talked about all the numbers yesterday, and I know I'm doing a lot of podcasts around numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? For the first time since in a long time when they've given out Patrick Queen a number 6 number. They gave one to Melvin Ingram, who wore 8, but then he went see you later on the team. My thing is, why make it an issue? Why talk about it? Why tweet about it? Why get Steeler Nation rolled up, fired up in terms of your jersey number when you know it's not going to happen? That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Also, in other news, though, I want to talk about Freiermuth. I saw this cool tweet about Freiermuth, and I will put it up right now. He says here, I want to be in Pittsburgh for the rest of my career. Hopefully it shakes out that way. Freiermuth said, next year, this year, whatever happens, I want to continue to play for Pittsburgh because that reminds me of where I'm from and how I was raised. Now, Freiermuth is talking about his extension, or he's like, his new contract going into the future. That's going to be very intriguing to me because I had this kind of idea where, do the Steelers, pay money towards Naji? Do they pay money towards Freiermuth? Does Freiermuth have to have a big year in order to get a contract next year? I think he's going into next year as a free agent, if it tests my memory correctly. And so is Naji Harris on his 5th-year option. So will the Steelers go and give him a contract? I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'm a fan of Freiermuth. I like what he does. Move, let's go, give him the ball. Last few years, or actually last year, the Steelers quarterbacks didn't target Muth at all in the middle, nor did the offense. So I think we have to kind of wait and see with this off-season, this training camp. Russell Wilson, maybe Fields. Do they spend money on Freiermuth, and how much money do they give him? But he wants to be here. Depending on what the organization does, I just don't know right now. But if you get rid of Freiermuth, then next year you have to go and replace him with somebody else. So maybe they send him a contract. I'm not too sure. That's what I'm kind of watching from afar. I could see the Steelers moving on. At the same time, I could see them offering me a 2-year, 3-year contract and work things out to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Rightio. The third subject I want to talk about in the last few minutes is go and look up Naji Harris's workout. He's getting me fired up for the season. I can't wait to see him behind the line. That is Sia Marlowe. That is James Daniels, Broderick Jones. Maybe they go and get right tackle into the draft as well. I don't know. I'm not a draft guy. Recently, I've done a mock draft, and I might be putting that out shortly. And bit of a hint, I choose Jackson Powers Johnson as center, but I don't know. I still think sometimes too they could go and get a right tackle, get a big right tackle, go and get Mims or whoever. Is it Fuaga? Maybe you trade up to get a right tackle, and you build the O line for Naji and Warren to run behind. I've been talking about this stuff for the last few years. Is just get big fellas, big blokes up front who could run behind the line, smash it in this Arthur Smith offense, that they're big, massive dudes and control the line of scrimmage, and Naji can feast. I did see his workout. If you haven't seen it, look through Twitter. The internet's the internet, right? Go around there, look through Twitter, find his video, and Naji's looking a bit slimmer. Maybe he can be a little bit faster, and the 1-2 punch will be Naji and Warren again. Good possibility that there could be 1,000 yards each. I predicted last year they'd get 1,000 yards each rushing, and Warren got about 740, and Naji got about 1,000 and something. But with this offense and more the play action style setting up to the pass, and I think featuring the run more with all the tight ends, that they just got another guy with Pruitt. He could be featured in too, and Darnell and Freiermuth to see how they go. But building the big, strong offensive line first and running the ball down the stupid Ravens' face, down the stupid Bengals or stupid Browns, take care of the AFC North and build off on the defense too. We could see a pretty strong year about that. Right, yeah. So in summary, guys, kind of a cool show today. I want to talk about this bloke here. You don't need to make it he talks about an issue. You don't need to make this an issue. George Pickens, it's not going to happen. I highly doubt the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they didn't give Fields number one, they didn't give you number one a few years ago. I don't think they're going to give out number one to a Steeler. I'd be very shocked if they were to give it out. So at some point, you have to stop tweeting about it and making it a big deal. Move on. You have 14. Create that number for the Steelers and do your thing, but kind of get over it as we go. And the other one was talking about Freiermuth. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers go and sign him to a contract next year and make him our number one tight end? Do they find another scenario? Could be something to see. And also look out for Naji Harris next year. All righty, Steeler Nation. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you later.